Hey there, King44 here with a War Thunder video, the first War Thunder video, hopefully in a series of many. Today we're just going to be going over some quick recommended bindings and just things to know for the controller setup for the console play on the Xbox. You probably noticed that by default War Thunder is a computer game, and it's not per se optimized for the Xbox, as we got a significant less amount of keys. So without further ado, let's bring up the controls menu and work our way down it. And so coming up here, probably the first thing that you want to note is the cruise control, which is activated by holding the left bumper and toggling up and down on the D-pad. So we'll do that and put it in low gear. Cruising at a nice 15, 16, 20 miles an hour in gear 1, and then we'll put it at max, and it was going a little bit faster, but not too much faster. So there's that for the cruise control on that. Let's bring up the controls and keep on working our way down. Weaponry. So when you start out, firing all your guns will be done with the right trigger. And while that might be fine for rank 1 battles, the longer you play, you'll notice that firing your machine gun all the time will give away your position. And you don't want to always fire your machine gun. So I separated that action, and I have my machine guns, the right trigger fires my main caliber guns. I have my secondary guns. What that would be, if you think of the M3 Lee, how it has all those different cannons and turrets on it. The secondary guns would be the smaller cannons on it that are bigger than the machine gun, but smaller than the largest gun on there. And I left those to be fired with either the machine gun or the right stick. It's just a weird preference that I have. Feel free to either put it, both on the right trigger or both on the machine gun axis. But I have firing my machine guns by clicking the right thumbstick down. That's what R is, right stick. And when I click the right thumbstick down, I fire my machine gun. And yeah, it comes in handy for soft targets like this guy. And now that guy's dead. See? All right. So continuing on with the controls. I believe next is shell type. Now this is probably not the best binding I have set right here. We could probably set this to right on the D-pad maybe, or up perhaps on the D-pad. I don't know. But if by setting it to something specifically, not leaving it default, you open up more bindings on the D-pad for you to utilize, and that's why I have it set as the left thumbstick. By default, you see the 3 shell types I have down there. Left will be one, down will be another, and right will be another. You can just set it all to 1, so you can just cycle through them. And that's what I would recommend, just so you have more bindings to play with later on. And you'll see that come into play when we get down here to the binocs. Important thing. Binocs will save your life. They help you peek over hills and objects without exposing your tank. And really, you can see a lot farther with the binocs versus with the tank scope. So the tank way out there, definitely can get a better view of him from there. And if you pull the right trigger with your binocs, your tank turret will aim to the center of wherever your binocs are aiming. So that comes in handy for shooting people that are far away. But as you'll notice, if I go to shoot this guy, that shell did not make it there at all. There's bullet drop. This game is pretty realistic. So that's not automatically calculated for you. You have to figure that out. And how do you figure that out? Yes, I could fire shells and figure it out eventually, or I could get some hard data so I'm not giving away my position by firing out shots to figure out where he's at. And to do that, we'll go into the controls and look at that again in the camera controls. No, there we have the binocs. Miscellaneous. Rangefinder. That brings us to the rangefinder. Excellent. Now, by setting this binding and remembering it, That'll let you figure out which range that your crosshairs are sitting at. So because, let's see, let's get them on this tank right here. I can press the left bumper and B, and not just from the binocs, but because I have it bind now, I can do it from the scope as well. Left bumper and B, it measures the range. You see it measuring the range, and 600. He's 600 away. So using the little pips on the left, I can guesstimate about 600. And oh no, guessed wrong. There we go. We got a hit. So there's one more thing to note about that, and I have this binding set. If I hold down on the D-pad and move the right thumbstick, I can set my sight distance to 600 on the dot. So when I aim dead center, that's already 600. And it's weird because now you see my sight is off center now. Now it's back, you know, back for range purposes, but that's an interesting thing you can toggle there, and I'll show you that binding real quick in the controls down here in the miscellaneous section. Sight distance control right here. So when I hold down on the D-pad and I move the right thumbstick up and down, that's how I adjust that. I'm not sure what moving the left stick up and down does, and I didn't really play around with that, but just know that. Probably one more thing I should get into is the active scouting, and I have that set to D-pad left, and that's important because if you're in a tank that has active scouting, like this tank in particular, of course it's not allowing me to do it in this match because all the targets already lit up, but essentially in your binocs or in your tank scope, if you have an enemy tank in your sights, you can press left on the D-pad and that'll scout that target. And that comes in handy with letting your team know where tanks are. And a lot of when I first started out playing this game, you know, it's like, how do I tell people where guys are? You know, I'll be looking at this way and be like, oh, there's a tank to my left, and my teammate, he'll be looking this way, and he'll be like, to the left, and you know, that's not the direction that the tank is. He's over there. So there's 3 ways to let your team know where tanks are. One, and the easiest, is the machine gun. If you fire the machine gun, which is reloading right now, that lets people know anything you hit the machine gun will pop up on the map down there, and it'll let your team know where the people are. The next thing you can do is active scout them, you know, with the you know, binocs or in the sights, if you have the active scouting ability on that tank. And the final thing you can do is hold B and bring up the map and drag your cursor over here to their position and pull the right trigger, and it'll put a spot on the map wherever you pull the trigger. And that's the third way of letting your team know where somebody is. You can even, while you have the cursor over the map, push the right thumbstick up and or down to zoom in and out so you can get a more accurate position right there. And yeah, so I think that's just about all the basics things. I just wanted to give, you know, a quick run through. I didn't want to go over anything too obvious, just some of the basic things that you'll need to know starting off in battles that'll just kind of give you a better advantage, a better survival rate and stuff. So there's that. I hope you enjoyed it, and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.